No.
You guys call me if you need me.
This is the whitest thing I have ever seen in my life. I've never had such an insane turnaround on an episode. Theo, the Jungle Fury Blue Ranger, is a guy always wanting to be the best at everything. When Casey joined the team as Red Ranger, being a rookie swapped in at the last minute, he'd barely give him the light of day. And he also just didn't like him, at all. Like when Casey was basically dying after being poisoned and Lily just wanted to help him out.
Casey already has one mommy. He doesn't need two.
Like, damn, bro, leave the dude alone. Look at... The Rangers get into a fight with a monster that can stick to walls, each of them attempting to scale a building to reach him and being pushed off.
Catch!
They end up losing the fight, but Theo becomes the most insufferable character for the next, 10 minutes, dude.
You want to do something? Have some fun? Go for it.
Go away.
Look, I don't blame him for being upset that they lost the fight, but he internalizes it in the worst way possible. It's less about the team letting the monster get away, and more so him focusing on how the monster made a fool of him.
We lost the fight. It's not a big thing. You can't just fold your tent and go home.
I can fold my tent and go home. Just watch me.
Theo, I'm ignoring your negative energy.
It's very self-centered and awful, made even worse when he takes to the point of shoving everyone out of his life for the time being and just being rude because he should have been able to take the guy out. Come on. I get that that's his character and that's how he's kind of been since the beginning at this point in the series, but the execution of it was so extra I actually wanted to stop watching. At the same time, I do recognize that that's a real thing, and at one point I had bouts that were somewhat similar. It can be hard to shake yourself and hard to break it into someone that's dealing with it. But I feel it's a bit different though in this team dynamic specifically, as Theo isn't the only one trying or the only one fighting this fight. He has two others alongside him also chosen to be Rangers and who also lost with him. This is where I feel Theo as a character got the worst end of the stick when it comes to the writing of this season. His whole character is this stuck in the mud, I have to be perfect at everything guy.
I got beat in that fight.
Yes, you did. Beat pretty badly. I saw it on all 5 screens.
Which is fine, except for the fact that that means that we need to have 32 episodes of this. It can be so irritating because in just about every and any focus episode relating to him, even somewhere he's not the focus, he ends up being a conflict or the conflict in and of himself. I love seeing him overcome his arrogance and self-doubt because you genuinely feel for him and instantly become proud of him. And I feel that's major props to his actor and how he conveys the character. It just sucks because you know that regardless of how he learned and improved himself for the better that episode, the very next episode, it's like a hard reset and it's like none of that improvement even happened. How many times do we need to hear, I can't do it, I can't do anything, directly after an episode ends with him having confidence in his abilities? Sorry, mini rant. This part of the script is being written and recorded 6 episodes after I watched the one that this video is discussing because it happened again and it's happened 3 times in between. I'm so serious. Okay, back to the actual recording. Again, I was so close to just tuning out because Jungle Fury also had another episode right before this one that wasn't amazing. Like when Casey went out on his own to take out Daishi and ended up poisoned and nearly dying and then got rewarded with a new power-up for no reason. But then when Lily went out on her own to take out a monster for Casey's sake, she got scolded and literally punished for it at the end of the episode. Like, what?
He thinks I need to learn a lesson for taking off on my own.
Well, I'm flattered that you put yourself out there for me.
What kind of shit is that?
In any case, RJ takes Theo out to the woods for some sort of training while the Rangers are forced to fight without him in the city.
You do not need him. You may want him.
Fine! We want him!
Sorry, not possible.
Bro, what is wrong with you? Theo was put through a bizarre routine, much similar to Casey's trial from some episodes back. This is where things turned for me and made me start to realize just how insanely amazing RJ is as a mentor.
I was beaten.
So what, dude? We all lose at some point in our lives. What makes great warriors is not winning every fight, it's what we do with ourselves when we lose.
After Theo finishes much of the routine, he still declares his worthlessness, to which RJ doesn't necessarily deny his feelings, but offers a broader perspective.
You have what it takes before that loss. You still have it. You just don't know where to look for it.
The way he speaks about confidence, the loss of it, and if it can ever be rebuilt is so powerful. I had to play it back like 3 times just to fully soak it in.
What if I can't find it again?
What if you can? Your choice. Confidence is a state of mind. Choose it. I have all day.
RJ's actor plays into the surfer dude stereotype so well, and that mixed with the serious mentor thing clash in such a refreshing way. He acknowledges how you feel and go about thinking about yourself, but challenges you to look towards other horizons in an attempt to better yourself mentally. I love this scene so much, dude.
You beat me before because I didn't have confidence in myself. Well, I do now.
This is impossible!
Theo manages to bounce back, rejoin the team, and put his confidence at the forefront. The Jungle Pride Megazord is able to take the upper hand, bringing another defeat to Daishi's army. Jungle Fury for me has always just been a piece of my childhood to where the puzzle pieces are very scattered. Being able to watch through it all the way through now has been really nice. It's been hit or miss, but RJ really came in to save this episode at the final hour. His father-like instincts and wise words made what felt like a very downer episode something worthwhile in the end. To me, it serves as a positive outlook on mental health and a return to form.
Confident?
Self-assured.
Working.
You forgot. Only human.
Jungle Beast! Spirit unleashed! This is me!
Listen, can I just say, how many times have I said can I just say on this channel? It's my channel.
Can I have a sip? What do you mean, can you have a sip? You're the host of the show.
I love her, and I was not expecting to like this character nearly as much as I actually do. I've said before that I feel her ADR is some of the best in Power Rangers. ADR is of course when the actors voice their characters in a recording booth for when they're morphed. Anna Hutchison just goes all out. There are times with Rangers where it doesn't really sound like they're in the scene, you know? But anytime Lily's got that helmet on, she is fierce. She's got a rasp that really makes you feel what's going on, and it's always a joy when we get to see her in action.
Jungle Fury Yellow Ranger! Yeah! Bye-bye, birdie!
She also just has a really bright face. A lot of her acting lies in her eyes.
Hey, Theo, did my butt get up with me? I can't tell. I'm numb.
Lily is the glue holding the team together. You could say RJ holds that role, and I'd agree to a certain extent. RJ's position is just to a different capacity. While RJ has the team go through trials to understand their true potential, Lily strings Casey and Theo along when they go astray. She and Theo have a bond that extends from before they all became Rangers, and that all gets challenged when Casey comes along.
It's so not a date.
Go Theo! What kind of shit?
Thing is though, it gets challenged on Theo's end.
You seen Lily?
Yeah, man. She's upstairs, getting her groove on with Casey.
When Theo creates an issue with Casey, she's the one that steps in to keep things on track.
We are in charge of protecting the world here. This isn't the prom. Work it out.
She's ridden with somewhat of a motherly instinct, and she does this multiple times with just her fellow Rangers.
Remember when you first started out? You didn't always have mad skills. Too bad Casey doesn't have someone amazing like that to teach him.
Lil, do you ever get tired of being right?
Not so far.
Lily knows what it means to be a superhero, but she also knows what it means to be a good person. When Camille is having issues with Daishi, she recognizes something being up, at the time not knowing she's speaking to her then enemy, and attempts to talk her through it.
If you need someone to talk to, I'm a pretty good listener.
It's nothing. It's just someone I care about really let me down.
Sometimes people make mistakes.
She's got an open ear to listen to someone's problems, and it's refreshing to see in a series that's normally always on go mode.
I can just tell you're a good person.
My boss thinks I'm useless.
It's ridiculous. Sounds to me like you need a new boss.
When the Rangers seek out Master Fant, his lack of confidence in himself causes him to banish them from his home, to which Lily takes it upon herself to refuse his refusal to train them and posts up on his porch. You cannot do that. Oh, in Power Rangers you can, or rather, if you're Lily, you can.
Master Fant is going to show me how to use that jungle mace.
No.
You guys call me if you need me.
She encourages Master Fant, reminding him of his strength and bringing him back onto his feet. Afterwards, she's rewarded with a new weapon and by proxy, a new Zord for the whole team.
Your armor's not so tough.
Even when Lily gets a focus episode, you'd expect her to go through some sort of struggle or conflict, and she does, but unlike the norm, her struggle at one point is that she's too trusting and nice.
She played me, Theo. She totally played me.
I know it feels that way, but you should never feel badly about reaching out to someone.
She becomes upset with herself for letting Camille trick her while being in disguise, when the actual problem was that Lily sat down and gave her life advice. Like, what a flex, dude.
Are you always so nice to everyone?
I prefer to think I'm a great judge of character. I'll take care of her. You guys go check on RJ. Hey, Slick.
I thought she was finna say something else. Okay, friend. Honestly, I really didn't want to like her as much as I do, because for many, many years, my favorite Yellow Ranger has been Kira, and if you've seen my channel, you could assume this is partly due to her character, but also nostalgia. But is it mostly nostalgia, though?
Yes, yes, yes.
And I don't want to just outright say she's the best Yellow Ranger, even if I think that myself right now. I mean, it is my opinion. I mean,
Can I have a sip?
because even still, it's been forever since I've sat down and watched the earlier Saban seasons of Power Rangers, but at the very least, I'm very content in saying that to me, Lily is the best Yellow Ranger of the Disney era. She's got so much heart, and there's never really a dull moment when watching her on screen. I see the effort she puts in and her attempts at keeping her team both strong and mentally well. Her trust in others can come to a fault at times, but she's all around got what I adore most in a Power Ranger, and that's passion. Anna Hutchison's amazing acting only adds to Lily's arsenal. Jungle Fury really brought their A game when it came to her.
Wolf Ranger!
RJ. Look, it was about time I come across this, and yet it still took me by surprise. RJ, the mentor of Jungle Fury, has the heart of his father. Matter of fact, he and his father had a falling out. RJ's father is the Shark Master, who feels disappointment when his son doesn't follow his way of doing things.
What's it been? 6, 7 years since we last spoke?
All I ever wanted was to teach you the ways of your father, my father's father, and so on.
Can we drop it?
This creates a divide that's hard for RJ to talk about, and you can see it visually affecting him in a way we'd yet to see at this point in the series. There's a point in which Casey longs for a master other than RJ, as both Theo and Lily have both had one pop up on them unprompted.
You trust me, right?
Yeah, sure. You're my Parshwar master.
Then why do you want another?
Oh man, that's all we need.
When RJ realizes this, and then his father reappears after years of them having not spoken, it creates what he sees as a loss, losing the last one of his students to not only another master, but his own father.
I'm trying to visualize a positive future for me to live in.
Say that again.
Does that work?
Is my dad gone?
No.
And it's not working.
It's almost off-putting to see him somewhat venting his frustration to Lily and Theo, but off-putting in a good way. We're used to seeing him being the teacher as opposed to the other way around. It better humanizes him and it makes him feel more like he's really part of the team.
I'm still Casey's master.
RJ, your dad is the bomb. He started teaching me the shark sabers. Whoa, amazing.
After the Shark Master trains Casey, but they end up losing a fight anyways, Casey runs to RJ to tell him how it went, but the Master feels as though he let everyone down, the same feeling that his son is dealing with. I love the framing of RJ here, just throwing cards at a hat, hoping to make at least one. Like, he's coping. He's trying to find a way of saying that he won something, no matter how small.
You're not doing too well.
Depends how you look at it. What if the purpose was to avoid the hat?
Oh, then I'd say you're doing great.
Casey and RJ have a heart-to-heart, and RJ notices his father in the midst of a battle with Daishi. He flies in to save him, not allowing his own family to get rocked.
You mess with my dad, you mess with me.
He's strong, RJ.
So am I.
Bro, RJ made him dab so hard, it caused an explosion. This is one of the first real times we get to see his inner wolf spirit come out. This rekindling of the two is the start of something incredible.
You know, if it wasn't for you guys, I would never have known what a good son and what a fine master RJ's become.
It's from this point on that RJ's wolf spirit is brought out again and again in more ways than one. In the Ghost of a Chance two-parter in which the Rangers achieve Jungle Master Mode, RJ surrenders himself to save the Rangers and finds himself in a battle with Daishi, who places something in him that frees the wolf spirit even more. Okay, backtracking a little bit, when RJ surrenders and he's with Daishi and his army, he kind of jokes around with them, kind of like when Sonic was kidnapped in Sonic Forces.
Hello, Wolfie.
Hey, listen, the hospitality's been great. I'm gonna recommend it to all my friends, but is there an express checkout?
Oh, hey, sounds like the party started. Want to let me go and join in? No? Of course not. You hate fun.
We see RJ suffering from the pain from time to time, until eventually it takes full control, essentially turning him into a werewolf.
Why'd he run off like that?
We, alongside RJ, who returns to Jungle Karma Pizza visually battered, are shown a news report of vandalism across the city and many people left injured. Suspecting this to have been his own doing, he decides to leave, to not worry the Rangers, and until he's able to regain control of his animal form. We hear him attempt to joke with Fran, who brushes it aside to hear the truth about what's really going on.
And I was even here when the whole kitchen caught fire, so...
But I invented the smoked and crispy combo.
Please, tell me what's going on.
The seriousness settles in so nicely here, and it forces RJ into a mode that greatly refreshes his character, while also allowing Fran to become more ingrained into the inner workings of what she's been hidden from.
Your animal form. Well, couldn't the Rangers help?
No, but they'd try, which means they wouldn't focus on Daishi.
On his trek out, he realizes that what terrorized the city was not him, but a new monster instead named Monkiwi. So it was really cool to me when I saw those blasts hit Monkiwi, and I was like, wait, but the Rangers don't have any projectiles. And I was like, oh, that's got to be the Strike Rider. And then it was, and he just like CG slides down a pole. Casey, Lily, and Theo appear to help, but are no match as Monkiwi provokes RJ's animal spirit to take form, who then turns his sights on the Rangers. With the fear that he could get stuck as a werewolf, it's up to everyone to find a way of returning control to RJ before it's too late. It's very distressing seeing him in the pain he's in because it looks so real. Not to mention when Fran stands up to him before he literally runs in and attacks her. Fran is integral to the purification of his animal spirit. What a weird sentence I just said.
You wouldn't hurt a fly, and you won't hurt me.
I just love what she is and how they write her. It's very nice, just an outsider looking in and then being included. It's really refreshing. Like, I love it. I love Fran a lot. With his spirit restored, RJ unboxes something from the closet, that being his own morpher. Now knowing he's gained full control of what was held inside, he's able to utilize it to its true potential and steps in to help the Rangers against Monkiwi. Oh my lord. I don't need to explain how gratifying this was. After so long of watching, knowing that this would happen, it was only a matter of time. Jungle Fury would not be Jungle Fury without the story of RJ. He's been through a lot, and a lot has been clouded by his surfer dude, things are okay persona. Now with control of the wolf and knowing his history, it was about time he finally let loose, and we get to see it through a flurry of spin kicks and flying leaps. That was the funniest sweep I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Not bad for your first morph.
Oh, you like that?
Hey!
All right, this right here, this got the biggest smile out of me. Anytime the Rangers let their personalities show while morphed is a good time. You just know the suit actors were having a lot of fun. This, of course, is where we also get to see the Wolf Sword in action as well, and it's interesting that we get to see the Wolf Sword actually doing things as opposed to just forming as part of the Megazord primarily, even though it does that like immediately after anyways.
Power Rangers Jungle Fury!
This was a big moment. RJ's tenure as the Wolf Ranger has always been uniformly praised, and now I can truly see why. This character is Jungle Fury, from being there for his students to being there with his students. I truly believe this was so much more impactful following the episode in which his father came into the scene. We got to hear so much of what he's dealt with inside, prove himself, and stand out on his own. And with this, knowing his father would finally be proud despite him not being present, it's rewarding to both RJ and the viewer seeing him tap into the morphing grid. Forever a fan favorite, and now forever one of mine.
I bet those glasses make you see better!
Remember when we had sunglasses as morphers? That was pretty weird, right?
Sonic Unleashed.
Man, I hope you remember it's the month of Jungle Fury right now on the channel, so I would really hope you remember. There's actually a really fascinating history behind these sunglasses, and I want to talk about that today. This was actually supposed to be part of my video talking about the morph, but it got so interesting to me, and I had to split the script in half. Why don't we just get into it, dude? The history of the Solar Morphers. Let's do it. Famously, despite its source footage, Jukin Sentai Geki Ranger using the Ranger's fighting gloves as the changer for the series, Power Rangers Jungle Fury invents something of its own, instead deciding to make the Morpher a pair of sunglasses.
Sunglasses?
They're not just sunglasses. They're Solar Morphers.
A bizarre and seemingly random change that had not been done before at this point in the franchise. Although many have speculated this being due to toy company Bandai America not wanting to have the Morpher be seen as a weapon, this can easily be disproven by later seasons of the show, such as 2015's Power Rangers Dino Charge, in which the main Morpher was a blaster. See, in reality, Power Rangers toy-wise has always maintained a formula when it comes to having its products on store shelves. You'll of course have action figures, newly designed vehicles, and Zords for each series.
Combine the Titan weapons and morph again to become the mighty, evil-crushing Mystic Force Deluxe Titan Megazord.
But the main ticket items right off the gate are always the Morpher and the main weapon, usually a type of sword. The Morpher and main weapon toy items are often the most prominent in Power Rangers section of toy aisles as they take up a good amount of space and are the most likely to be the quickest selling. This being the case, with Dino Charge, Bandai could keep the Morpher being a blaster and still sell the sword on its own, as the Rangers would wield both as per usual. One issue Bandai America faced with Jungle Fury was the lack of familiar weapons shown in Geki Ranger. I mean, they had weapons, right? But they weren't like the normal weapons, you know what I mean? Like no blasters and no swords. But they had, okay, they had a sword, but you know what I mean? It wasn't right off the bat. In addition to this, what they'd end up considering to act as the main weapon toy for the year would actually end up being the Morpher in Geki Ranger. It's very likely that instead of adapting this aspect of Geki Ranger in the same fashion and selling the weapon as the Morpher toy, they decided to split them apart and create a Morpher of its own. That way they'd be able to still maintain two SKUs, a SKU essentially being the barcode of a product, instead of there just being one item. This can further be corroborated by 2018's Power Rangers Ninja Steel, in which the source footage utilized a sword as the Morpher. Ninja Steel decided to instead make the source footage's sidearm weapon the Morpher and still be able to sell the sword toy as its own separately.
Power Rangers Ninja Steel, Morpher, and Sword sold separately.
When asked about the change to sunglasses, Jackie Marchand, a veteran show writer and a writer on Power Rangers Jungle Fury, would have this to say, quote, "Honestly, the story behind this is pretty simple. Bruce Kalish had the idea to make the Morphers sunglasses and Bandai liked it, so they did it. The inspiration was that the helmet design that year already had visors that sort of looked like sunglasses anyway." End quote. Thus, The Solar Morphers were created. The Solar Morphers were some of the most unique creations in the show's history, as they were not only able to be used in a fashion sense, but they were also unapologetically silly.
Go out there and beat down evil. And now you look good doing it.
The Solar Morphers had gone through a few different iterations before landing on what we'd become familiar with in Jungle Fury. One of those iterations would become what ended up being sold on store shelves as the toy version. This iteration features a silver base, a standard lens, and 3 plates designated to each of the 3 original Rangers. Each plate is stylized with a hole as to not cover up the orange button in the middle of the Morpher. It's unknown if this design was originally planned to be used on screen as the main prop, or if it was always planned to be toy only. Its concept is strikingly similar to what was done for shows such as Hurricaneger and Abba Ranger, what we'd know in America as Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. Each Ranger having their own version of the main device, but each carrying out the same function. Despite this design being scrapped for the show itself, it did end up appearing in the morph sequence. When the Rangers burst out during the morph before the helmet forms, you can see a render of the toy morpher being worn instead of the main prop. This is shown on each of the 3 Rangers.
I bet those glasses make you see better!
All right already!
Other designs show that the sunglasses originally did not feature the pull-down microphone and attempted to look more like the animals. A common trait of these designs not utilized would be the inclusion of earpieces near the end of the handles. These earpieces would actually end up being sculpted into some of the prototypes, even those that went on to be painted. What we ultimately ended up with would be more streamlined and generally accepted visually as a standard pair of sunglasses with an added flair. The Solar Morphers appear as sunglasses color themed to each core Ranger, with sculpting reminiscent of the Jungle Fury Ranger helmets, and a silver mic that can pivot down from the lens for usage. What started as an orange button in the center would still be sculpted onto the prop, but just painted over. The Solar Morphers showed once again that Power Rangers was brave enough to take bold steps without worry. Instead of creating yet another wrist morpher or phone morpher, they opted for a new change of pace, something that hadn't been done before, something wearable, something that looked both different and cool, depending on who you ask. The craft put into Jungle Fury is absolutely admirable, and to think we wouldn't have had this style choice if not for both the brilliant ideas of the showrunners and the beautiful helmet designs of Geki Ranger.
That croc has met his match.
What do you mean, RJ?
What are you talking about, bro? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? I'm trying not to laugh.
How many times is an episode gonna pan up on the Daishi base like this dude? Is that the guy from Stranger Things?
Inspector Fuller, Health Department.
Dominic, our main subject, is traveling to Jungle Karma Pizza and makes his way in impersonating a health inspector and assaulting Casey.
These should be fresh.
Turns out RJ and him go way back, and he's apparently just here to like hang out, I guess. He doesn't really explain it. He just comes to chill, I guess.
This is my old buddy from Pai Schwa. Dominic, this is Casey, Fran, Theo, and Lily.
He's very nice. He's like the guy in school who's cool with literally everyone, but you're afraid to talk to him because he leans more on the cooler side and hangs with the cooler kids that you don't talk to.
I always have a book with me. When I'm alone, they're kind of like my friends.
Hold up, is Lily wearing pink? Okay, I see you. RJ lets us in that Dominic was originally chosen to be a protector, but his curiosity into everything proved a hindrance. He wanders the world in hopes of finding a focus.
Oh, sorry,
How long have these been in the trash?
I don't know. I can wash them.
His curiosity causes him to jump into a fight with a wrenchy and nearly harm a pedestrian.
Sorry I was late. I got held up.
However, this one instance is what makes him want to join the team, not fully taking in the seriousness of the matter or how long it took everyone to settle into this battle against Daishi.
Everything's a big game to you.
You guys?
To prove his worth, he puts in work at Jungle Karma Pizza and almost assaults Casey again.
Batter up.
Bro is out for blood even by accident, dude. Problem is, he sucks.
What? Man,
Man, come on now, get that pep off there. Come on, somebody come get this, man. Come on now. Come on, get that pep off. That's just too much doggone pep.
Casey about to have a fit.
I'm not gonna fit in here. It's back to the path.
Shows up, tries to kill Casey like 3 times, leaves, doesn't explain. Fran strikes a bit of a relationship with Dominic, pressing everyone on whether or not they tried to understand him before he left.
You didn't even say goodbye.
Didn't think anyone noticed.
Of course we noticed. Okay, well, I noticed.
These two are like a perfect match. I love them together. And just seeing Fran interact with someone that's like her is so refreshing and nice. Like they're just like geeking out over books.
I wonder if I'll ever find my purpose.
Just don't quit looking. Yeah.
She and Casey go back to find him, her trying to reason with him. As she heads back, a sign begins to fall at the dock, Dominic rushing in, showing off his rhino power.
You okay?
This is enough for Casey to see his worth, inviting him to join Jungle Fury.
I'm sorry, you know, for thinking you were just a goof off. I mean, you are a goof off, but you're also a lot more, and I think you should join us.
It should also be noted that RJ had been working on a morpher for Dominic earlier in the episode, meaning he must have saw something in him at the start that the rest of the team probably hadn't.
Jungle Beast! Spirit! Unleashed! With the power of a rhino! Jungle Fury! Rhino Ranger!
Knowing what his personality is and seeing him ranger up made me feel so good inside. I just knew I was going to enjoy his tenure a lot. That Rhino Morpher puts in work against the henchmen, so much so that RJ and the Rangers in Jungle Master mode just stand around and watch.
That croc has met his match.
What do you mean, RJ?
What are you talking about, bro? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? I'm trying not to laugh. Bro, I can't believe what this episode did to me. First of all, it's gonna sound different. I'm in a car at work and it's hot, so I look probably... Anyways, I have a coworker that for months I was like sort of at odds with off and on because I felt like I love him as a person, great character. But like his work ethic, I felt was not up to par. I felt like we were always pulling our own weight and they weren't pulling their weight, if that makes sense. He came to me randomly and was like, hey, so, you know, I just feel like I do things differently. You know, I like talking to customers. I feel like I do things differently and I feel like that's where my strength is. And I was like, yeah, I get that. I can understand. And I'm like, you pull your weight and you do your own thing differently and you do help us out a lot. And I was realizing like, that's exactly what this episode of Jungle Fury was. And it played out. And I literally watched this episode this morning and this happened this morning. You know what I mean? And I can't believe it. I just wanted to say, hey, come on, Power Rangers, let's go.
Later, Gator!
Becoming a ranger and just being a ranger should have been the focus he sought out for all along, as it perfectly allows him to demonstrate his confidence paired with the power of the Rhino. It's a strong match.
The gum? Ah, Dom.
That is a ball of presumably chewed up gum from the table he was scraping earlier. That's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, and they're laughing about it. You know, with how many times Dominic attacked Casey earlier, I thought it was gonna be a bomb, to be honest. Dominic's entrance was nice and simple. It didn't feel forced, it didn't feel rushed. It genuinely felt like the perfect amount of time to introduce a character on their debut, while also allowing them to prove themselves and morph. I appreciate that each character in this series has had the time to go through struggles and see them for themselves, and again, be given the time to let their true selves out. And with Dominic, it's no exception. White Rangers can always make anything look sick. Theo, go! So this is one of the weirdest episodes of the entire show for reasons that aren't like, okay, maybe it's not one of the weirdest, but a lot of weird things happen in this episode. First of all, the Spirit Rangers show up.
Jungle Beast! Spirit unleashed!
Daishi and some phantom beasts use these crystal eyes and capture the elephant, shark, and bat masters and are able to harness their powers to create spirit rangers, and as a kid, this blew me away, dude. First of all, I love that they're clearly designed after Jungle Master mode because duh, I mean, and also you can tell they're very clearly made because of toys. So it's like, they look really cool, but also it's like, wait a minute. As a kid, I only really saw their morph and roll call on like clips online, so I was really excited to see their actual debut fight here. And I mean, it was alright. I mean, honestly, it was really strange. For one, there was an enormous amount of slow motion in places where normally there would be none at all, and it became almost distracting to the point I paused the episode to look up if there were any production issues around this point in the show. Also, this was the episode that made me realize just how late Dominic came into the show. He came in after so much had already been done and established, like RJ overcoming his wolf spirit and the Rangers training with their masters. Hell, even RJ had his own interactions with the masters on screen. His father literally is one. Dominic doesn't have any real meaningful interactions with anyone in this show, and it's made extremely apparent in this fight with the Spirit Rangers because he's barely even in it. I saw him maybe twice, and then when they gathered together at the end, he looked like he just got his whole chest torn out, and it's like, dude, you wasn't even here. In any case, Theo gets a call that his brother is showing up.
Older? Younger? Is he cute?
Nothing like me.
We find out that it's his exact twin brother, as Lily says.
Theo, you didn't tell us he was your exact twin brother.
Just say identical. You don't have to be like, is that your the exact same guy as you?
Theo!
They literally just have Theo's actor playing both of them. It's really stupid and silly, and I love that the most about it. Theo's brother Lewin was seen as the popular kid, the one doing these crazy things and getting recognition, while also blowing stories out of proportion, something that's rubbed Theo the wrong way since they were little.
So you think I'm wasting my time? You're the one doing kung fu for years on end.
There's a really profound moment when Theo spills something on his brother and has to give up one of his shirts, and his actor almost looks like he's about to cry. It's nothing huge, it's just, I wanted to highlight it because it was really good.
I'm gonna need to borrow a shirt. Upstairs.
As you can expect to happen in an episode about twins, Lily mistakes Theo for his brother, and they go to the store together. Theo's upset. Also, Dominic is delivering a pizza and gets captured by the Spirit Rangers. What is bro's problem? Like, this show's doing everything in their power to get him out of there. Lily spills of Theo's jealousy to Lewin, learning that both brothers are basically envious of each other, a lack of communication breeding a misunderstanding of each other's goals.
I always wanted to be more like him.
You guys are more alike than you think.
I do wish the acting as Lewin was a bit more distinctive. He kind of just talks and acts like Theo, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Lily and Lewin get captured next, and then RJ and Casey. Theo manages to take on all three Spirit Masters on his own, unmorphed, by using a device RJ created against them.
Happy feet, wombo combo.
Jungle Beast! Spirit unleashed! With the stealth of a jaguar! Blue Ranger!
It's so refreshing to see him going at a big bad entirely on his own with the rest of the team out of commission.
Come on!
The first person rescued is Lewin, who gets to see his brother in action as the Blue Ranger for the first time.
You're a Power Ranger.
I like this episode a lot, and also this episode at times can give off the vibe of like a student project where they just learn they can have two of the same person on screen at the same time.
I shouldn't have dissed on your adventures. Truth is, I've always been proud of you.
Theo hearing from his brother that he's proud of him is rewarding, especially given that Theo as a character has improved a lot since the early episodes of the show. He's a lot more laid back and less of a stick in the mud. There's been so many points he's been able to shine, but you can still tell he's not quite there yet. I was really hoping for an episode like this to come about because I didn't want my primary experience of him to be disliking what he brought to the table. Now, does this episode make up for the really bad ones? Absolutely not. But in a way, I feel like this this one addition of his brother being in the show better fleshed him out. It makes sense that he's always trying to be the best. It makes sense that he comes off as pretentious sometimes, stuck up, and disapproving of Casey in the beginning. Now, if his brother had been mentioned in the show at all before this, I feel I'd have been a bit more forgiving of him early on. What they did with him here was really, really cool, and even I ended up feeling proud of him. Let's go, Theo. You know, at first, I felt I'd have little to nothing to say about Casey.
Beat ya! Yeah. Okay, so
Because he was just too good.
Yeah, I bet those glasses make you see better.
Casey to me stands out in comparison to a lot of Red Rangers in that he's fierce, both on the battlefield and to his fellow teammates. Specifically, RJ.
You see, RJ? We've been wasting time. Come on, guys, let's go.
Casey had a big mouth when he wanted to, but I don't necessarily think it was ever a bad thing. He can hold his thoughts in, but when checked in on, he gets very outspoken, and this hits as early as the 3rd episode. Being someone not originally intended to be a ranger, he has very little prior training.
RJ, you gotta teach me something.
I just did. Now I'm on break.
No, I mean, you gotta teach me more.
When RJ pushes him through trials, he gets very easily frustrated as they come off as just standard chores.
Now, in case you haven't noticed, I've been getting my tiger tail kicked all over the city. When are you going to train me?
He can really lash into RJ, but that's when it falls on RJ to steer him in the right direction, to help him see things differently instead of just viewing everything as having binary outcomes.
You asked me to train you, and I have.
How? By fixing your chair?
See?
Like twisting and shaking the mat.
And when you face off with that buffalo thing, stay low. You'll cut his power in half.
His experience at the Academy affects him all throughout the series and rears its head up most again when RJ becomes the Wolf Ranger.
Voila!
Up to that moment, he'd taken pride in being the leader of the team, the Red Ranger, the Tiger, and although RJ had already been his master, he hadn't been his master on the battlefield to this extent.
Do more training. Come on, let's go. Practice makes... Yeah. What's up with him?
With RJ calling out directions for everyone, he feels as though his position has been lost. RJ, once again, steers him correctly. Someone can come in and seem like they're stealing the spotlight, but your team knows what's up, and if they trust you, they'll run with you.
Everyone has moments when they get kinda unsure. You just have to trust your instincts, and your friends will trust them too. Gotta go.
A very common theme throughout this entire series is RJ's amazing leadership. RJ can slip up and have his flaws here and there, but ultimately he knows what's best for the team and can see almost 5 steps ahead. Casey's growth also nearly causes another downfall, as he's basically able to call the shots when Dominic comes in.
They should be fresh.
Despite how badly Dominic's first impression came off on everyone, Casey seemed to be the most affected. Someone new comes into the team, disrupting the flow, and Casey is the first one to really let it be known that their presence is causing a disturbance. However, this serves as a lesson to Casey in patience.
Did you ever give him a chance to show you what he was really made of? Even once?
After seeing Dominic save Fran later in the episode, he realizes he never gave him a proper chance, utilizing his position as team leader properly and allowing Dominic to join Jungle Fury.
You've got the Rhino spirit and the Ranger spirit, and I think you should join us.
This is the kind of growth that I like. Could Casey do better at waiting things out and growing stronger as things change? Of course. However, I don't fault him for having those feelings, and they're not consistent enough for it to feel forced or a writing issue. It feels genuinely human. His outspoken nature is what I like most about him, because in a way, it almost reminds me of Jack. Can't forget the time in which a little kid stole tip money from the restaurant.
Hey! I can almost taste the action now.
You're right, son. There it is.
Emergency!
Casey running after and scolding him because he wanted to buy a kite with it, and then finding out that that's exactly what he did later on.
Don't let them see you.
Why not?
Because you're a thief.
You're a fake and a fraud.
Power Rangers don't like thieves. Can't have it both ways, Josh. Either you're a good guy or a bad guy.
He's just good. Casey does wonders when grouped with his teammates and shines even when alone. Just an all-around great Red Ranger. Alicia, Andrew, Austin, Autistic Disney, Brandon, Chaco, Emilia, Grim, Helen, Ian, Junior the Hedgehog, Matthew, The Real Heebleman,